Welcome back to the kitchen. Doing a frozen dessert today, which is great to keep in the freezer and pull out when you've got people coming around for dinner or just as a little snack, but it's definitely more of a party or a dinner treat. So it's called honeyed parfait with fresh fruit. Now parfait is basically like an ice cream. You could spend hours explaining the difference between sorbets, ice creams, parfaits, semi-Fredos. They're all different names to desserts that are frozen in the fridge. So basically this is a parfait, so it has egg yolks, sugar, and we're using sour cream, and then it has some flavourings. So the first thing I need to do is to separate my egg whites and my egg yolks. So I need 5 egg yolks. So don't forget to keep your egg whites. You can make meringues with them, add them to scrambled eggs. If you're making scrambled eggs and you've got some egg whites left over, then just throw them in with your whole eggs. So they can be useful, so it pays not to discard them. But in this case, we only need the yolks. We don't need the whites for the recipe we're making. So there's the third one. So we're flavouring this today with Chinese 5-spice, which is a mixture of different Asian-style spices, and it just gives it a nice little hint of spice. And we're going to serve it with some sort of tropical type fruit that fit in with those spices as well. So there's our 5 egg yolks. Into that we're going to add our caster sugar, and that goes, and we're going to add some honey. 2 tablespoons. Make sure it's a nice flavourful honey, but any honey will do fine. This is just a liquid honey. And then we need to get our meat beater into it, and we want to cream them together. And we want to cream them until they actually turn white. They will also start to thicken up. And we'll be dissolving the sugar at the same time. So I don't think if you can get a shot of that, but there's that. So we're changing from our egg yolk colour into a lighter colour. As usual, we need to make sure we scrape down the bowl as we're working, so we get all that mixture mixed in. Back in with our beaters. So I can feel that most of that sugar's now dissolved. It's thickened up and we've got a nice white colour coming to the fore. We'll let the cake mixer go for a crash, but that's fine. So there's our mixture. All nice and ready to go. So into that goes 500 mils of sour cream. So in goes our sour cream. And to this we're going to add roughly 1/4 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. There'll be little flecks of it around through the mixture as well. And it will just give it that nice hint of flavour. So we want to basically start folding in as we can that sour cream. Try and have it at room temperature if you can, so it's a bit softer. Now sitting in front of me you can see a loaf tin hopefully. Now that loaf tin is what we're actually going to set our parfait in. So what I've done, I've taken 2 sheets of Glad wrap and I've double layered them, and then I've lined the loaf tin with the 2 layers of Glad wrap just to protect it as it goes into the fridge and then into the freezer. So what I'm going to do is just get a whisk just to break up some of those lumps of sour cream, just to get them stirred in because they are a bit firm. I wouldn't put the cake mixer back in because that's too too severe, but just the balloon whisk that I'm using just breaks up those last few lumps of sour cream. There we go, so we've got a nice smooth mixture. So now what we do, just carefully bring that towards me, we're going to pour in our parfait. So that's all there is to it, so not a lot. Of course we now have to wait because it has to go in the freezer to set. So what we want to do now is we want to fold it over, fold the other side over, then each end, and then just give it a wee bit of a press down. And then we pop that into the freezer. So I'm just going to sit that to the side there and move on to the fresh fruit. So at the moment there are some nice pineapples in season. So we're going to serve some pineapple. I'm just going to make sure I trim off the eyes. Now these are the little eyes here. If you're not familiar with the eyes in the pineapple, you've got to make sure you remove those, because you often find if you've ever eaten fresh pineapple and you get a little sort of fuzzy feeling around your lips, well that's the eyes. They haven't been removed from that piece of pineapple you're eating. So you want to make sure that we've removed those. I'll just do those last few pieces. Still keeping it in that circular shape, it's handy. And of course we want to remove the core. A lot of people think you can eat the core, which you can, but from a presentation point it's actually nice to remove that piece of core out of the pineapple. We don't want that sitting there because it's quite fibrous. It's quite hard to actually eat, so we don't like that. And then I'm going to cut these into thinner slices to serve with our honey parfait. So I'll just cut those down, pop those back onto our prep tray. And we've got mangoes in season, so again it's sort of keeping in with the flavours of the parfait. So we've got the 5 spices, as I said, so I'm just going to cut a cheek off there, as we say, with the mango, and I'm just going to leave the skin on, and we'll cut 3 nice pieces of our mango. And again I'm going to use those on the plate, so we'll just sit those there. Right, so we'll get our honey parfait out. So this is one that I had made earlier. So doing the Glad Wrap thing, it should just, as you can see, come straight out of your loaf tin. Your loaf tin's clean, so not much to actually wash up. We can then just still leave it in the Glad Wrap because you might not use it all. We'll get a knife and then we'll cut a nice wedge of our parfait. We'll get our plate. On goes our piece of our honey parfait. We'll just wrap that back up to go back into the freezer. And then we can add our fresh mango and our nice fresh pineapple. If you wanted to add some more sweetness to that, you could drizzle over some of the same honey you actually used in the dish, but that would make it even sweeter. So it's quite sweet with the honey in there. So there is our honey parfait with our fresh pineapple and our fresh mango. I'm Scott in the kitchen, and we'll see you next time.